Hi, I'm Mitch from Industrial Plastics, and today we'll be going over your commonly asked questions on planter box liners. The Industrial Plastics planter box liner is a heavy-duty plastic liner designed to go into your planter box enclosures on new or existing construction projects. If you've ever designed or constructed a building where the outdoor planter boxes have had a fail in the membrane prematurely and then the building's leaked, you'll understand why these planter box liners make sense. They're designed to extend the life of the membrane in the planter box by protecting the membrane from roots and other forms of physical damage over a very long period of time. Our planter box liners are not designed to be freestanding. They're made from 5 or 6 millimeter high density polyethylene, which means they're actually quite flexible and need to be fully supported. Yes, we do custom size planter box liners, which means we can also offer curves and different shapes too. If you send us your building plans, we can take a look and do first draft shop drawings based on your building floor plans. High density polyethylene is very durable and UV stable. We design our planter box liners to last the life of the building. Some sizes of planter box liner are more cost effective than others. When looking at planter box liners, we have to balance sheet optimization, production labour and freight. Once we take a look at your building plans, we can advise on the most cost effective sizes to use for your project. Our planter box liners are designed to go into an enclosure that already has a fall built into it. If you want to secure the planter box liner to the wall, we recommend using slotted holes and screws along the top edge. The holes need to be slotted to allow for thermal expansion. Alternatively, you can use an aluminium H or K profile to hold the planter box liner to the wall. Yes, standards require that you still install a waterproof membrane before installing our planter box liner. This product is designed to extend the life of the waterproof membrane, not replace it. There are a few options for organising drainage for your planter box liners. The most basic option is you drill the drainage in on site. Going up from there, we can install drainage fittings that make installation on site much easier. As an example, we can use this fitting and weld it through a hole in the bottom of our liners. That will be watertight. This fitting on either end has 50mm BSP threads, so you can screw in an overflow manifold, or you can screw in a dropper on the bottom side so it slides into or drops into a puddle flange or downpipe. These are the most common solutions. If your project requires an overflow manifold, as opposed to just letting the water spill over the side and be dealt with by the membrane, we can supply one. Normally it will look like this, and it screws into our drainage fitting. The length of this PVC pipe can be changed based on the depth of the planter box liner, and there are various fittings that can go on the top of this pipe as well for your project. You can join our planter box liners together by using a joining strip that we provide. We also put a rebate into the planter box liner for the joining strip to sit into. We can set this depth how you like. If a lower rebate like this is used, it's designed for the planter box liners to overflow into each other. If we make a shallower rebate, this joining strip can sit flush with the top of the planter. The idea is the planter box liners get pushed together and our HDPE strip will clip over the top and hold them together firmly on site. In situations where you've got planter box liners meeting on a corner, the same thing can be done. Like that. The join between the planter box liners is not designed to be watertight. If any water does drip between the two liners, it'll be caught by the waterproof membrane underneath. We don't recommend sharing drainage points between joined planter box liners. We recommend having a drainage point in each liner. In the case like this, where you have two liners of this size, we would recommend replacing it with one liner if you only have one drainage point to use. In rare circumstances, we can recommend a tank style joiner which screws the two liners together, but we would use this as a last resort and always recommend that you have one drainage point per planter box liner. The depth of a planter box liner will have the biggest impact on price for a planter box liner. So we recommend setting the depth of the unit to whatever it is that the plants that are going in it require. If you have an enclosure that's already deeper than what the plants require, people will often pack out the bottom with polystyrene or drainage cell before installing the planter box liner over the top. What goes in the bottom of a planter box liner depends on the kind of plants you're using. But what we see most commonly is about 50 millimeters of drainage gravel in the bottom or a 50 millimeter drainage cell. That allows the soil to sit above the drainage points in the drainage fitting. And of course, always use geotextile to stop dirt and small rocks escaping down the drainage system. Normally our customers will send us a building floor plan, and from there we can offer a budget price. After that, we can go a few different directions based on the complexity of the planter box liner systems. For more complex shapes and sizes, we can offer to come to site to assist with the site measure. Alternatively, you can do the site measure yourself and use that to approve our shop drawings. Once shop drawings are approved, we manufacture the planter box liner system and deliver them to site. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Please get in contact with us today if you want to find out how our planter box liner systems can save you time and headaches in the future.